Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing well. So today guys, I'll be checking out this video from the officer Tatum and it's titled "The View Goes into a Frenzy Over Karoline Leavitt Dominating the Press Office." You guys, I'm excited for this and without much ado, let's see what this video is all about.
No more funding for illegal DEI programs. It means no more funding for transgenderism and wokeness.
And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you, because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
For the longest, women couldn't be in these positions. Imagine you being the press secretary. You know how silly you are? Then y'all got a show full of women that's silly. Y'all women make people reconsider, should women even be doing this? Karoline Leavitt give us life. Y'all fools make us want to turn the corner back. Whoopi Gold turds. Let's listen to them get mad at Karoline Leavitt. You know, these are the same party that's for the people and for women, and we believe our women and the patriarchy and the white man and all this stuff. But then if it's a woman they don't agree with, now it goes out the window. Roll the clip.
Yesterday, the new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, gave her very first press conference where she announced that they're adding extra seats to the briefing room. Take a look.
It's essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape in 2025. This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment, so it's why our team will work diligently to restore the passes of the 440 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration. We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room. We welcome independent journalists, podcasters, social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House. This seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat. My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
All right.
Hold on. What's now y'all heard what she said. What could possibly be the problem with what she said? We are a constitutional republic for the people, by the people. Inviting other people in the landscape of media that also encompass influencers like myself who have, I don't know, over 1 billion views on my YouTube channel and millions of people that follow me. I'm disseminating information probably better than they are. What is the problem with this? I don't see, even if a Democrat said this, what's the problem? Roll the clip.
She say?
She basically said that they were going to give unqualified
God, how boring.
unqualified
Can they get
people
somebody there
jobs.
not so tedious?
Unqualified.
Podcast needs to apply for White House credentials.
Oh, they'd love having Joy in that room.
I got a question. So wait a second. So in other words, instead of Bob Woodward, they want Kim Kardashian? What? I don't get it.
Wait, okay.
I have a question, which is why I was leading us in this direction.
Yeah.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me
Good.
explain something to you.
Good. Oh,
because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about that. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our asses to make sure that this was a person's world. Please stop using that phrase and talking about because you don't understand what you're saying.
Hold on.
You're saying
Every single Trump, I would say since Trump been in office, he's had women as the press secretary, except for Sean Spicer, because he started in, I forget her name, from Arkansas, Huckabee Sanders. Sean Spicer, Huckabee Sanders. Then the next, I mean, he had what's his name, Miller, fill in a couple times. But then he had another female, and then the first press secretary he has this time is a female. Like, where are they getting this from? The word woke, I feel like Whoopi, she need to fire everybody that produced this show. Whoopi, you don't know what woke means. Woke has nothing to do with civil rights, constitutional civil rights. Woke has nothing to do with a meritocracy. Woke is people doing extra stuff and putting people in places that are not qualified because of the color of their skin or whatever is between their legs. Whoopi, you don't know what you're talking about. And they say it with a straight face. Matter of fact, you the reason why, for the longest, women couldn't be in these positions. Imagine you being the press secretary. You know how silly you are? Then y'all got a show full of women that's silly. Y'all women make people reconsider, should women even be doing this? Karoline Leavitt give us life. Y'all fools make us want to turn the cornerback. Roll the clip.
Saying about yourself that, you know, hey, that's a terrible thing to be. It's not a terrible thing to be. That's why we fought. That's what we were fighting for, so that you could stand in that podium, so that Catherine Jean-Pierre could stand at that podium. So women of all kinds of colors and ilks, wherever they came from, whatever their belief system was, they had the opportunity to bust down that door.
By the way, I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though. It's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Whatever I'm saying, this is the first time that she's been she may be. But my point is that job would not maybe have been open to her.
No, I understand. I just wanted
us.
to clarify that.
Yeah.
But on the issue of the new media, because I actually think this is kind of brilliant, and I think future Democratic White Houses should do the same thing. We're realizing this election, how people consume media has drastically changed. This was the Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, Alex Cooper election. It wasn't mainstream old school media that was driving people's interest in what they were following and the stories they were. And I think this is an acknowledgement that Trump realizes this. This is a person who made his career in television.
What's to prevent those media influences from being only on his side?
Well, there will be partisans, but I think it was promising that they brought in Axios, which is mainstream, but then they brought in Breitbart, which is a right-wing outlet. And so some of the outlets that had their passes revoked when Biden came in were right-of-center outlets. I don't have a problem with partisan outlets being there as long as it's representative of both sides and you have non-biased traditional media there as well, and that it's fact-driven how they cover it.
Hold on.
problem that I have with it, though,
non-biased media that's bullcrap. The left has CNN, MSNBC, NBC, Telemundo. They got every single outlet is biased towards the Democrats. They're not impartial. Quit lying. This is why Karoline Leavitt in the White House is doing this through the press secretary, is because y'all have been biased this whole time. There is no impartial media anywhere. Fox is conservative. All the rest of the media outlets, by and large, are leftists. That's just what it is. They report 96% negative for Donald Trump. Quit lying. Legacy media is dead. People like me and others who report the truth. Now, the truth may benefit the Republicans. Well, if the Democrats or the leftists want to be represented, then how about y'all start telling the truth? If you were telling the truth, I wouldn't be mad at you.
You guys, I totally agree with the officer Tatum. If only the women at the View can say the truth, then people wouldn't be so mad at them. How are these women still relevant? Imagine hating a country that made you who you are, because that sounds like the finger that fed you. And I don't know why the people in the audience are even clapping for Whoopi when she is making no sense at all. What is wrong with a woman getting the job of a press secretary? Like she did not qualify for the position that she's occupying. This is very, very laughable, because these two women at the View, I don't even know what to call them. I thought they said that when Donald Trump wins that they'll be leaving America. I still wonder why they haven't left yet. Let me know what you think, and let's continue watching, you guys.
I don't have a dog in this fight. There ain't nobody paying me. If the Republicans are saying it right, that's what I'm going the truth. And they just so happen to be telling the truth more. Democrats are just lying hags, just like these women on the show. Just a lying hag. If you guys were represented at the press secretary or the press corps, y'all are leftists. Even the fake Republicans on the show are leftists. All right, keep rolling it.
She's saying that these people that are going to apply will meet their criteria, We understand that their criteria is woefully deficient and unserious. Right. I think that their real problem in this election, one of the real problems among the many, is the misinformation and disinformation that was disseminated on social media by these influencers and by these podcasters. Why are they qualified to sit in front in the White House briefing room and tell America what is going on with the country? Traditionally, to become a White House correspondent or to be in that briefing room, you had to have a journalism degree. Yeah. You had to have qualifications. Yeah. So I guess the rise of mediocrity is here to stay.
They're making a Snapchat equivalent to the New York.
Hold on a second. I want y'all, I'm just trying to, okay. First and foremost, you do not need, do I have a degree in journalism? I do not have a degree in journalism. I am more influential than just about every journalist you could think about. I got more influence than they do. You don't need to have a degree. It's all a lie. Not anymore. You don't need to have a degree to look at a piece of paper and say, this is a lie. Donald Trump never said this. This is not the truth. I've been black my whole life. They just made up this. Hey, that cop, that was justified according to the law. How do you know, Brandon? Let me go look up the law. The law says this. And so the law says this and that person did that, then it's not consistent with the law. Or you charged him and this has said something different. He's going to be acquitted. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do that. It only takes a person that's acting in good faith. That stuff is dead, man. Social media hadn't even existed. They made people get degrees so they can work in corporate America for these big conglomerate organizations. Now, people who got common sense, bro, that can look the information up. I can read. I can't read that good, but I can read. All I got to do is read the thing and say, RFK doesn't want to ban vaccines. He never said that a day in his life. He just said they're not even tested. Therefore, they're not held accountable. Who would be against the testing and verification that these things are not harmful? Only idiots. Finish it.
Well, no, but you guys are minimizing something really important here. There was a time where there were 3 evening broadcasts for news. Yes. Everyone sat down around the TV and they watched these 3 news outlets. Mm-hmm. Now you look at where people consume news. 54% of American adults say they get news from social media. A large majority of U.S. adults, 86%, say they get at least some of their information. If you don't want mis and disinformation, which is inevitable, obviously, with this administration, but if you want to go directly to the source and have people receive it themselves and put it out to their audiences, I'd rather have them in that room. And influencers are not just the Kardashians. They're also the Brene Browns. Mm-hmm. You've got podcasts like Pod Saves America. There are people that only consume their news from other...
They show up.
And I do think that there are a lot of Americans who do feel like the mainstream media got a lot wrong in recent years. And while there are editorial standards, I don't think that we can definitively say, because you have this degree and you're with this outlet, you've never gotten news information wrong.
Well, I will say this. I feel a lot better when I know there are standards people have to meet.
Yeah. Of course.
And so you can bring in whoever you want. The truth will, the proof will be in the pudding. We can stand and say this is terrible, but so we're gonna wait and see what happens. And the minute it turns out to be state-run television or state-run information or state-run news, because I disagree that people got stuff wrong. I don't know what people were looking for, because the people I talked to were not looking for the things that these folks were looking for. And now that they've got him, are they getting what they want? So that's just my opinion.
But even on the media front, we haven't gotten to this real quickly this week. The CIA came out and said that COVID very likely came from a lab leak. And the New York Times shut down coverage of that. They wouldn't publish an op-ed by a senator from Arkansas, Tom Cotton, saying that this was a credential theory. At the time I was at DOD and that was openly discussed, is a very real possibility.
Confidence by the CIA.
There is a fact that the media at times has gotten things wrong.
Listen, it isn't about whether they get it wrong or right. It's what they do to correct it. That's the problem.
That does matter. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I want.
But it also matters that the CIA.
Lord, it's hard. Go ahead.
CIA said that it was a low confidence report, and that is why the New York Times, which has standards, didn't report on it.
But withholding the information altogether purely and saying that it's not even a considered theory was what the mistake was.
The mistake really is there's too much BS floating out there, and now it's out of our hands. There's no way to control it. So now they're saying they're going to control it. I want to see what they're going to do. I want to see who they're going to invite into this. Because, quite honestly,
all right. Shut up, woman. Shut your mouth. Sit down. Go be back in the kitchen. No, I'm just playing. She can't cook anyway. Look at her. But anyway, she got the Ozempic though. She can cook up that Ozempic. But let me just say this: what the truth is that they are upset that they cannot control the media anymore. That's just what it is. They used to dominate the mainstream narrative, and they can't do that anymore. So when they get out on TV and say that a man doing like this is Hitler, then a plethora of people can say, that's not true. Let's explain why. I love the fact that so many people have the opportunity to present information. Only thing I am against is when people knowingly and intentionally disseminate lies to get you fearful or to make money off of you. That's the only thing I dislike. However, the American people, I have confidence that you're not completely stupid and you actually can study for yourself. That's what it's all about. I don't care what CNN says. I should be smart enough to say, that don't sound right. Let me go do some research and have a plethora of different opinions to hear from, and then do my own research to figure out what the truth is and come up with my opinion. You can't just have 3 outlets, because if they get compromised, all your news is compromised. I love hearing people that I disagree with, because sometimes they're right. We should always have that as an availability.
You guys, that was such an interesting one from the officer Tatum. And one thing about this whole Donald Trump administration is that Trump and his crew didn't come to play, because everyone that Trump picked for any position at all is highly qualified for that position. And I agree with the officer Tatum. The View and other mainstream media can no longer control the media. That is why they are so mad. People are more invested in individual media. The mainstream is gradually dying away soon, and the View will be cut out of business. Let me know what your thoughts are. I really enjoyed every minute of this video, and I believe you guys also enjoyed watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.